Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University and Public Domain, the graphic novel. Alright, so this is an Indiegogo campaign. It just kicked off a little while ago. Already got like 10 backers. Let's see if we can't maybe consider changing that a little bit. So check this out. I got a press release sent to me. This was a very generic press release also. Like it didn't have my name on it. You know what I'm saying? They at least had the decency to send it to only me and then send it to only whoever else they were going to send it to. So, you know, because I've gotten press releases like that where it's like, okay, I could see all the people you sent this to and that's not cool in the slightest, not even remotely, dude. So they didn't have my name on it. So it was very impersonal, but yeah, at least it was private. So that was cool. Anyway, this was a pretty good comic book, all right? They sent me a free issue of issue number 1, a digital copy. It was pretty good. I gotta admit, I liked this, all right? So let's check this out right now. Public Domain, a new comic series by David Furr and Ben Dunn. David Furr is actually the guy who sent this. So the comic itself, it starts off with a wartime situation. A couple of Russian soldiers during World War II. They're kind of kicking around, these 3 guys, and they're talking to each other. And all of a sudden, there's some kind of a flash. And there's not really much of an explosion. You know what I'm saying? But all of a sudden, there's like this smoke coming, and they realize it's not smoke, it's steam. It has a very weird smell. And all of a sudden, there's this American GI like all curled up and whatnot, and he's looking up, and he can't talk for some reason. On his dog tags, though, it says Richard Teller. Okay, cool. So later on, we come to find out that Richard Teller is actually a comic book writer. Now, actually, maybe he's the artist too, I don't know, but either way, he's this big-time dude for these famous comic books. Okay, cool. So, this guy goes and he grabs a couple of his wartime friends to act out the roles of these comic book characters that he makes. One of them winds up getting killed. And he gets killed in the MO of a character that Richard had put in his comic book. So check this out now. This guy only appeared in like 2 issues. In the past 25 years, he's appeared in 2 issues. This bad guy with this particular MO, the Black Dagger. He murders this dude. Well, one of the 2 detectives who are on this particular case, they realize, hey man, hold on. I have that issue. And he goes back and he looks at it. So he goes and he's basically going to get the fingerprints from this comic book guy, because he goes to this comic book store and he's like, oh, hey, Mr. Teller, what's going on? Hey, could you sign this for me? He's like, oh, yeah, sure. And he says a couple of things. One of the things he mentions is, you know, that comic book, there's this character called the Black Dagger in there. And that's it. He just asks about the MO for, you know, how he kills people. So he leaves. Well, Richard's like, you know, he's like shocked. He's like, oh my God, my friend was murdered. Oh, that's terrible. Oh gosh. And like, check this out. The art is I always say this, art is subjective, okay? The art was interesting on this, all right? It took me a couple of panels to get used to the art style, but boom, I'm there, I'm done, all right? I didn't even think about the art afterwards until I started seeing a couple of little ticks here and there, all right? The way that the character is standing when he first meets the cops, and then once the cops tell him about what's going on, you can actually see the body language changing. That's pretty cool, and that's not easy to do in comic books. So right away, that's when all of a sudden I noticed the art again, and this time in a really good way. I'm like, oh, that's impressive. I dug that. So you're going to find a couple little things like that in the comic book where the art is going to express something that the writer is hoping is going to be expressed, and it absolutely does happen. So there's a good symmetry there between the writer and the artist. So now, after a couple of minutes, the police have already left, and this guy returns to signing comic books. He turns to the comic book store owner. He's like, hey man, do you mind if I take a break? Just use your phone for a minute? He's like, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, dude. So he calls up this dude in some nowhere place, and he's like, hey man, turns out that my friend so-and-so just got murdered. Yeah, it's messed up. It's weird. These 2 officers were there, and they happened to mention something about the Black Dagger. The guy's like, oh. He's like, yeah. So I'll talk to you later. Hangs up. This dude on the other end of the phone gets up, walks over a little bit. You see a view of the house from the outside, and then a boom explosion. Okay, so the mystery thickens. Look, I'm going to say something bad, then I'm just going to gush a little bit, all right? There was a couple, like two. I counted two. Mind you, I'm a former English professor, so I see these things. And the editor should be seeing these things too. But I know that I got a rough copy. I know that I got a rough copy, all right? It was expressed. But there's it was the same character, the girl in the hotel who was with the guy who got killed. There's two little word bubbles by her, word balloons, where she forgets a pronoun. You know what I'm saying? Just little things like that. That of course I notice, and it's just, oh, this is what's going on here. Aside from that, I enjoyed not just the reading, not just the art. What I enjoyed was the story and the plot and how the story is being related to us. The writer makes sure that we understand what's going on, and not by treating us like we're dumb and saying, okay, guys, so you see that such and such happened. No, no, no. We're getting all this through the point of view of the one detective, more than the other, but easily from this one detective. So he does a thing. Some of us will catch on, others won't. Then it's reiterated in a way where he's explaining to his partner, and then we absolutely get it, and we get more than that. We get what he's trying to do with this evidence and how he actually just collected a little extra evidence. The characters, every single one of the characters here feels real. Yeah, even the ones who just died. They felt real. Not an easy thing to do, especially not with a new comic book, because these characters aren't already established. That was really cool. I definitely enjoyed this comic book. Look, is this going to be a huge success? What I do know is that this particular issue was fun, and I would definitely like to see the other issues. I would really like to know how this story pans out. So guys, once again, this is an Indiegogo campaign, and this is out of Antarctic Press. Now, this is not one of the greater, one of the larger press publishing houses that are out there, but they did just get known recently, all right, through a little bit of controversy. If you don't know about it, by all means, look it up. If you do know about it, you know what I'm talking about. Look, I want it to be understood more than anything else. This is being published, this comic book, public domain, the graphic novel. This is being published by Antarctic Press. It is not owned by, it is not created by, it is not written by, it is not drawn by Antarctic Press. These are just a couple of creators, guys who are trying to make it in the comic book industry, and they're moving on like that. And they've got a good marketing plan going. They got a good, they could have personalized a little more, but hey, I'm going to let that one slide. They got a good little gig working here, all right? They actually got Fred Hembeck, who's going to be drawing one of the covers. That right there made me go, oh, really? So they're not clowning around. They're making some, they're actually doing some moves here. So I'm liking it. It's a great story. So far, I really dig the story. I got to read more to know what's up, and I guess I'll be waiting until that actually happens and whatever. Hey, maybe it will get funded, and they'll send me the other copies so I can review those. Either way, either way, this was enjoyable, and I can assure you this is going to be fun. They've got a whole bunch of different joining campaigns, support, levels. There we go, levels. I'm suddenly forgetting. This is not the first Kickstarter that I've promoted, but and this is an Indiegogo. They got a whole bunch of good platforms that you can check out, and yeah, I enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed this. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna let this one go at that. Go ahead and click on it, take a look, and see if it interests you. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.